Hello, my name's Simon Patmore from the BitClub network team in the UK. I'm here to shoot this video to tell you all about the compensation plan. Just like any referral network, we get paid introducing other people, but this time we actually get paid in Bitcoin. There are actually 6 ways we can earn commissions. There's a binary team cycle bonus, a binary matching bonus which is paid up to 8 levels. There are level up bonuses and level up generation bonuses. There are also infinity overrides from the ranking system, and finally there are leadership bonus pools. I will further on in this presentation take you through each one of those. But with BitClub we earn a percentage of all the Bitcoin that's being mined, and that's paid out to all our personal network. All commissions are physically paid in Bitcoin, and of course we're earning every day profits from the Bitcoin mining. So let me take you through the first one. The first one's called the binary team cycle bonus. Very simple. In a binary plan you have a left team and a right team, so essentially you earn credits on your left and right team as people join the organization. So as an example, if someone buys a $500 share in mining pool 1, you receive 1 credit. If they're buying a $1,000 share in mining pool 2, you get 2 credits. And finally, if it's $2,000 share in mining pool 3, you basically receive 4 credits. And obviously if someone becomes a founder member, so they buy a share in all 3 pools, you'll then get 4 plus 2 plus 1, which is 7 credits. So those credits are added up on the left and the right, and as soon as you've got a match, so you've basically got 5 credits on the left and 5 credits on the right, that's what they call one cycle, and you then get paid $75 for that. What you do have to bear in mind though is that you can only have a maximum of 4 cycles within a 24-hour period. So essentially what that means is you can earn $75 times 4, which is $300 per day from the binary plan. However, there are also matching bonuses to be paid all the way down to 8 levels, which I'll come on to now. So, with the binary matching bonus, you can receive an additional income from the people in your team that are also receiving binary bonuses. So an example, on your level 1, the first people you introduce, you can get a $5 bonus for every time they cycle a particular binary. So they get paid $75, you get paid $5. And then moving on down, as you increase your rank, and I'll come on to the next slide to show you what each of the ranks are, but once you get down to the builder level, so if you achieve the builder level, you then receive $6 on your level 3 people that receive a binary cycle. If you then get up to the pro builder level, you get paid down to level 5 and 6, up to the top level, the top rank, which is master builder, you're then getting paid all 8 levels in terms of your organization as and when they cycle with the binary plan. So what are the different levels? Well, the first level is called the builder qualification. And what you need to do is when you first join, everyone's called a miner. As soon as you sponsor 5 miners, so that's 5 people here, the people in blue, and they each sponsor 2 miners themselves, and you've also got a total of $10,000 in total volume in your organization, then you qualify as a builder. And once you do that qualification, you actually remain at that qualification for lifetime. So that's the builder. In summary, 5 miners, that's 5 people you introduce, who each introduce 2 people and a total volume of 10,000. The next rank up is called Pro Builder. What you need to do here is you need to have 3 of the builders that we just identified earlier. You need to have those in what we call 3 different legs. So when you enroll people, they come in, so this is your first person, second person, third, fourth and fifth. They're all different what we call legs. So all you need is you need a builder in 3 of the different legs. But the builder doesn't have to be what we call in your front line, so it doesn't have to be referred by you directly, it can be indirectly. So in this case, on this leg here, it's not this blue person's a builder, it's the green person down here. And that's fine, as long as you've got 3 builders in 3 different legs. Then in addition, you need to have a total volume of $50,000. Now that doesn't have to be in a particular period, usually you'll build that up cumulatively, and once you've got a total volume of $50,000, you'll then hit the pro builder level when you've got the 3 builders in there. What you just need to bear in mind is 50% of that volume, so $25,000, can't come from one particular builder. It needs to be spread across them. And then once you're qualified, you'll maintain that qualification, providing every month you get $10,000 worth of new volume that comes into your organization. And again, as long as 50% of that, so the $5,000, is again not in one of those particular legs. So that's the Pro Builder. And then the final one is what we call the Master Builder. Very similar. This time, instead of them being builders, they need to be pro builders. So essentially, you need 3 pro builders in 3 different legs again, total volume of $250,000, no more than 50%, so $125,000 coming from any of these pro builder legs. And then to stay that qualification, or to keep it, you then need to have a minimum of 50,000 going through your volume in terms of your total organization in a particular month. So they're the three different rankings. Okay, the next one is number 3. So another stream of income is called the level up team building bonus, team infinity bonus. What happens here is the first 2 people you enroll yourself, so the first people that you get to join BitClub Network, they'll be placed on what we call your team 1. So that's number 1 and 2. What happens is you personally earn a direct commission of 10% on whatever they purchase. So as an example, if they buy a $500 share in mining pool number 1, you get 10%, so that's a $50 commission paid straight to you directly. That is actually $50 US. It immediately gets converted to Bitcoin, so that goes into your wallet purely as Bitcoin. So that isn't just on their first purchase, that's on any purchases that you do within the organization or whenever they're in the business. And in addition, if they buy any partial shares. So if they're buying partial shares from their earnings that they get every day, you also receive a 10% commission on that. What then happens though is anyone that they enroll below that level, so if your positions 1 and 2 enroll other people, those commissions go straight up to your upline. Okay, so that's team number 1. Team number 2, so we got our first 2 people, we're getting paid 10%. The next one is called team number 2, and they're your 3rd, 4th and 5th people that you directly recruit. Now this time you'll get a 12% direct bonus, not the 10%, you get 12%, so slightly higher. So you get 12% on whatever they purchase whenever they're in the organization. So that's their initial purchase and any further shares they buy from their profits or anything like that, or commissions. But as an extra benefit, what also happens is you also receive 2% on the first 2 people that they recruit. So the first 2 people that the 3rd person recruits, you get that. And it also works all the way down. So it's the first 2 all the way down the organization, all the way down to infinity. And it's the same obviously with the 4th person, their first 2, their first 2, their first 2, and so on, and the 5th person again. So you've got 2 different levels that they're paying at, 12% here and 2% all the way down the organization on the first 2. So that's team number 2. You've then got team number 3. So team number 3 is your 6th, 7th and 8th person. You receive 15% on whatever they purchase, just as before. You also get 5% on whatever their first 2 people introduce or purchase. And then again, all the way down, their first 2, their first 2 and their first 2. So you're always receiving 5% of all of those. And then here, we also get 3% on their 3rd, 4th and 5th person. So this number 6 one, whatever they bring in, so their 3rd, 4th and 5th person, whatever they purchase, you get 3% of that. And then again, all the way down, the 3rd, 4th and 5th, the 3rd, 4th and 5th, all the way down the organization. And then the final one is called team number 4, surprisingly enough. So on team number 4, this is your 9th person and beyond. So it's basically anyone beyond 9, could be 9, 10, 11 and so on. On each of those members, when you bring them in, you actually get a massive 18%. So if someone's coming in, for instance, at the $500 mining pool level, you're going to receive 18% of that. So that's $90 you're receiving commission for bringing these people in. But it gets a lot better than that, because what actually happens is you then receive an 8% on the first 2 people that they introduce, and all the way down, so their first 2, and so on, 8% of all of those. And then it gets even better. You then get 6% on the 3rd, 4th and 5th person that they introduce, and the 3rd, 4th, 5th that they introduce, all the way down the organization. And finally, even further, on the 6th, 7th and 8th person that this person introduces, or any of the people in Team 4 introduce, you get a 3% commission. And again, that's on all the 6th, 7th, 8th, all the way down. Massive introduction, or massive earnings that can be achieved there. Now, what some of you may have realized is what happens when you get beyond Team 4. Well, it's not a problem, you don't get blocked. What happens is the company put aside some extra commissions, what's called generational bonuses. So if, for instance, you've introduced 9 people yourself, so you've got a Team 4, and then one of those people, say your 9th person, then introduces another 9 people as well, they're starting to build their Team 4. That's no problem. You then get a 2% override or bonus on everything that that Team 4 has produced. And if they go on further and someone in that team again builds a Team 4, you get 1%. And if that Team 4 builds another Team 4, it's 1% as well. So you don't miss out at all. You get a significant income stream from the level up bonuses. Moving on, we've then got what we call the 5th stream of income, infinity overrides from the ranking system. So depending on your level, builder, pro builder or master builder, you will then receive an income of all the commissions that come through within the generations. So if we're at the builder level, it'll look down your organization and it'll pay your 1% commission, and it'll pay that all the way down to the first builder. Then it'll pay again 1% down to the second builder, and then 0.5% down to the third one, and then once it gets to the third one, you're actually blocked, you don't receive any more commissions. However, if you're a pro builder, it then looks all the way down the organization, pays 1% on those commissions down to the first pro builder, and then it pays 1% down to the second pro builder, and 0.5% down to the third, and then again you get blocked. However, if you're a master builder, it again pays all the way down to the first master builder, pays 1% on all those bonuses. Generation 2, it pays 1% again, and then finally you'll actually get blocked at the third master builder. But believe me, at that point you'll be earning a significant income, you won't worry about that. But to help you out, the company have actually introduced a 6th income, which is called the leadership bonus pools. They've set aside 1% for the top leaders in the company, and that's paid out monthly based on the volume of worldwide sales. So bonus number 1, that's called the monster bonus. You receive 0.5% of that bonus pool. You've got to have at least 2,000 credits in your entire enrollment tree, so that's in your entire organization, with no more than 50% coming from a particular leg. And to stay qualified, you need a minimum of 200 credits, new ones, every single month, and again with that 50% limitation. So that's the monster bonus, and the final one is the mega monster bonus, which again is another 0.5% that's paid out across the top leaders. There you need to have achieved at least 10,000 credits. It doesn't matter how long it takes for you to achieve that. Once you've achieved it, you're then qualified. But to stay qualified, you need to get a minimum of 500 new credits every single month. So that's the compensation plan. It does sound a little bit complex, so I encourage you to go back, play the recording, stop it whenever you need to, or anything like that. All this information is actually in the back office, so when you become a member, you can go straight into the system and you'll see the compensation plan in there. So this is all about BitClub. We're obviously trying to help make people achieve money through Bitcoin. There is a one-off membership fee of $99. If whoever invited you to watch this video, do get back to them if you're interested in joining. You'll usually find their website address is http://bitclub.biz with / and then whatever their particular username is. So please get back to them, and hopefully I'll see you in a future video.